I get to play Eric today.
Oh,
Yes.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
So these guys called me up. I'm right down the road, luckily. Hey, you want to come in today? Eric's not around. We're making some videos.
Yeah.
So here I am. You guys
Yeah.
reviewed this DAC recently and sent me home with it. I got to listen to the DAC and the amp and a TC over the weekend, which is really fun, by the way. Had a good time with that.
That's a good combo.
It is. Now we're sitting down talking about this combo. So we got the Broadway, KDAC, and TC running.
Diana TC.
Yeah, balanced through the whole thing, of course, because that's what the Broadway wants. And man, so this is a pretty new piece of kit.
Brand new. We just got them a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R2R,
We're excited
huh?
about it.
Right.
R2R.
Yeah.
Custom Socers board.
I'm a little bit of a Socers fanboy. You guys already know that.
Yeah.
But I know you're using Socers in the Formula also.
The
Not the Formula,
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say
Sagra.
Sagra.
Right.
I keep thinking of the whole stack.
Sagra deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sagra, yeah.
Yeah. The bigger cousin to the bigger brother to this.
Yeah,
kit.
I guess this is the same system, just little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, about half the size.
Well,
Yeah.
less than that, actually.
Way less weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a Broadway, but I do have a Broadway S. Use that for like 2 years, something like that now, 3 years almost.
Yeah, if you don't need as much power.
Yeah. But it's got a similar sound to the Broadway, but with less juice. And that kind of has really grown on me with that Class A sound.
I know. Same here. I mean, I love the fact that these amps just run full Class A.
Yeah.
I like that sound too on our headphones. You know, the Formula S is the same deal. It's full Class A.
Yeah.
More power.
Yeah, we were running the Formula S right next to this.
Yeah.
And they sound very similar.
Going between the two.
Yeah, but they are different.
Yeah.
You know.
And that says a lot about this DAC because it's going up against some heavy hitters we have here in house.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're talking about the DCS Bartok and the new Lena DAC and even their own Sagra
Sagra.
DAC, which is a $4,000 DAC.
Yeah.
And this little bad boy performs.
Well, I had a chance to use this also with, while I had it in my office, I was using it with the speakers too. And that whole setup, I ended up going Class A with my speaker amp
Cool.
because I had spent so much time listening to the Broadway and fell in love with the Class A sound. It's like, well, I have to go this way now. So then paired this with the Class A amp with the speakers. It was like, oh, this is exactly how, when you like
Right.
listen to something, you get that
Oh, yeah.
shiver and you're like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you use this with speakers yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's,
hear it.
it's,
I didn't
it's
hear
just as good with the speakers.
Yeah.
No different. The speakers don't. I mean, you're talking about, because I'm used to the Sagra with speakers.
it. Right. Yeah,
So
I guess,
to me,
yeah.
this is, let's put it this way. The KDAC is, I don't know, I hate to use percentages, but it's probably 90% of the Sagra if I had to pick a number. The Sagra's still has more res. It's got more inner detail.
Right.
But at this price point, and the fact that this thing does bass,
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like there's nothing. Honestly, under 2K, we've never seen anything that sounds this good. They're
Yeah.
always lacking and lean sounding, in terms of a DAC.
It is hard, because I've gone through that journey for my home system. I don't have unlimited budget, so I go through all these different DACs. I've tried I don't know, at least a dozen things in the $2,000 price range, trying to find something right. And I really liked, I remember there was that one I brought in one time. It was like, yeah, this is the DAC I've been using at home. And it was a Matrix DAC, like a pretty solid DAC around 2K. But I really just love the sound of R2R more. It's just got kind of a smoothness to it,
Yep.
but it doesn't gloss over everything. It doesn't smear things,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, which is kind of like what I like about Class A. And combining the two, it's just like this super, I don't know, it's a more pinnacled version of that sort of sound I like out of Class
Well,
A or R2R.
it's really more natural to the music. You think about the way instruments play.
Yeah.
It does leading edge real well on strings and everything, but it's not ripping your face off. You know? It's got the fullness in the body of the instrument with it. And that's where I think most people just don't get that at this price range.
Well,
Yeah.
especially with the Broadway, it matches perfectly with the Broadway sound.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, the
Yeah.
Broadway's a DC coupled amp, so it's
Yeah.
it doesn't have any bottom end limitations. It'll go down to DC. So and a lot of people don't realize that, but when you start rolling around 20 or so, let's say the spec is 20 and it's got a coupling capacitor in line in the amp. So that capacitor matters, the size of it matters, the design, blah blah blah. Bottom line is that you avoid all that with a DC couple, And so the amp actually has a more extended bottom that can go lower. If you want to play 20 hertz properly, the amp should go down to 5.
Right.
And that's just the way it is, or lower.
Right.
That's the nature of it. And
Headroom. You're essentially talking headroom just in the other direction with
totally
frequency response.
Well, yeah, that too, in terms of dynamic range.
Yeah.
And
it's headroom for your frequency range, so to speak.
For the bass.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of
headroom for your bass.
It's kind of like looking at it backwards.
Yeah.
Well, it's also why it sounds so punchy, That's like the difference between the Formula S and this. That's it. Different sounds,
Yeah. Well, it's like all those times that Sam came in and played the cello, I mean, everybody got a chance to really, really in-depth hear a cello in the building,
It's a big instrument.
It is a big instrument. And it has like that really, like it does have articulated sounds that happen in the treble, like the vibration of the string and all that stuff, and like the sounds of the body. But it doesn't bite you. But there are still like, I've had amps and DACs in combination where I'll listen to, a cello and it'll bite. And I'm like, I know a cello doesn't do that, And it's not in the frequency response of the amp. It's just in something about how it's reproducing sound. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And there's like, I feel like when you go
it's
towards
its resonant
Class A,
character.
Yeah,
the instrument's resonating, and you hear the wood and the way it reacts to the string vibrating, and it's all encompassing when you're right in front of it.
Right.
And most of that gets filtered out through the whole process and chain of getting to your ears. Right. I mean, think about how much that pluck of the string has gone through by the time you listen to it.
Yeah, right. It goes through the air, it goes through the capsule,
Yeah.
it goes through the preamp and the compressor into an A to D, and then through 10 million things in a mixing process, then compressed down to a WAV or maybe an MP3, God knows.
Yeah, right. Hopefully
And
not.
then, goes on the internet.
Yeah.
And then gets downloaded.
Right.
We could go, that chain gets twice as long
That's
before it gets
crazy.
to your ears.
Yeah, you think about it.
Yeah.
It's amazing it can sound as good as that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a lot of, that's like the most complicated commute in the world for a piece of wiggly air to get from an instrument to your ear.
Well, that's the beauty of being able to have something like that in front of you playing, and then go, all right, let's compare it to
an actual
playback.
Yeah.
And it was recorded here, so we have the recording.
Right.
So you can kind of pick out, where things are going right or wrong. But
it's complicated because there's so many levels of coloration that happen between, the instrument and your ears. But I feel like part of that has to be trying to color it back to how it sounded
pretty
in real
much.
life.
Yeah, in the playback side, you pretty much are.
Yeah.
In a lot of respects, because really what is right on the playback side, what's right,
Coloring it back.
totally depends on
coloring it back.
totally depends on the recording. Yeah, putting the color
I've
back.
never heard that before.
Yeah,
No, it's
really.
like you see those photos from 1930s
Oh,
and then
right.
colorized. It's like,
Yeah.
well, it was color there. We got the black and white photo here, and someone fills all the colors back
Yeah,
in.
yeah. You ever seen that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, colored black and white stuff.
Oh, geez.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it looks creepy because
See if I can find a picture
It's
of
like
that and put it up
watercolor?
on the screen
no,
here.
I mean kinda, but yeah. So it's like it looks more real when you see like 100-year-old video that's color.
Yeah.
It's fake, but
All right. It's wild. I always wondered how they did that. It
Yeah.
seems like it'd be difficult to do.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find a photo of something similar to that.
Yeah, someone just did something with that. It's like they AI upscaled video,
Yeah.
and it automatically colored it too. So it was like higher resolution and colored.
Yeah, stuff like this.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's like wild
Yeah.
how much like different it looks when they add color back to it.
Yeah.
It's like a similar experience, I feel like, with me and like audio,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. It totally makes sense. And the thing is, I mean, even at the mastering side or mixing side, those guys are listening to it on something
Yeah.
that adds
Oh.
color.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speakers, headphones, whatever.
Mhm. The
You know?
room.
Yeah, right. That was
Yeah.
very colorful.
Like you,
Well,
You know?
could be
Or
a
There are
dark
wall.
or dead,
studios.
but still.
there are studios
Whacked
I've
up.
been in that cost more than any house I've ever seen on the planet. Like immeasurable amounts of money, it feels like. And that room is still adding coloration.
It has a sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there are people, like I've been in studios where like they go in, I'm talking to you right now, camera, where they will build a room in a room and suck out all the air between the rooms, you know? So it's a perfect vacuum and there is still some level of like crap going on with that space.
Yep.
I doubt they could ever make a perfect vacuum.
Well, not
An
perfect.
imperfect vacuum,
Right.
but you know what I mean.
A lot of fiberglass.
Yeah. Closer to a vacuum than we're able to survive
2
in.
feet deep fiberglass works pretty good at most frequencies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the space. You know, that's what they use. That's what they need to use if you want to like trap bass in corners and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You need like 3 or 4 feet thick fiberglass
Yeah,
to really
space.
do it. Yeah.
Space.
Well, a lot of the guys that make custom rooms for 2-channel, they'll build it into the design of the room.
Right.
You know, they'll hide it behind a wall. The wall's there, but it's not really a wall. It's just, you know,
Right.
material with a shit ton of freaking insulation behind it or something, you know, or absorption.
Even anechoic chambers. You know, they have that
Yeah.
metal mesh that you walk on and all that. That's
Yeah.
introducing some level of reflection.
Oh, absolutely.
I just realized I sent us down like a really
Yeah, yeah.
wild
Yeah,
tangent,
right.
but
Well,
Yeah.
it all comes down to nothing's perfect, right?
Yeah. Well, bottom line is, I mean, bottom line is this. All
Yeah.
right, we've got our Diana TC, which is new. It's just been out. It came out the beginning of the year, and it's extremely low resolution. I'm sorry. It's extremely. Let me say it again. It's extremely low distortion. So
Yeah.
what that means out of a headphone is that now, because you're not adding so much color with the headphone, the colorations of everything else start to stand out. And
Yeah.
it's primarily the electronics, the amplifier and the source, which is really all you got left.
Well, and the recording.
And the cabling and all that's too. But yeah, the recording, absolutely. So you can hear what the mic's picked up to a really high degree here. And, you know, but that requires smoothness in order for it to sound natural. You don't want to shove all that information in your face in an unnatural way. And so
Right.
that's the beauty of having something like this R2R, this KDAC, a very well balanced amplifier that does bass really well.
Well, it's a system, essentially. That's
Yeah. And they were made to work together.
Yeah.
Same manufacturer.
right.
You know, I mean, I guarantee you that Michael, the designer, was using his stuff when he designed his DAC. And we've been using this Relevant Audio stuff for years with our headphones. He's also using our headphones
Right.
right.
with this amplifier to design this DAC. So when you think about it, it kind of all makes sense that it would work extremely well with the new TC.
Yeah, I feel like if you have a TC, this is probably the way to go.
It's
'Cause
really good.
I've got the TC at home, and when I used it with this, it was just like, it's a lot better than anything else I had at home.
Well, yeah, because, you know, ultimately, what are you going to do? Mix and match till you find something that is close to this?
Well, you
Right.
could.
It's not going to happen. But you
Yeah.
can try
It'll
that.
take
you
a
could
while.
probably do it if you spent a whole hell of a lot of time, but I
And
feel like
money.
at that point, you spent a lot more money on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, you know, this combo is about the same price as the headphone. And I mean, when you think about it in a big picture, that's about where you need to be at a minimum for for high resolution playback.
Right.
You know, I mean, we got people that spend $50,000-$60,000 on, you know, you get.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
you get a W33 Elite, you know, with all the perks. It's $20,000 for the amp.
And then some people get a solid state amp too. That's high end.
Yeah, why
It's
not? I
complimented,
mean,
you know.
if you're
Yeah.
at that level, then you're going to have at least 15, 20K in the DAC.
Right.
You know, you're there. I mean, you're to really get to a high end level, it's easy to go crazy in the gear side of things. And I mean, by all means, it will continue to step up to that. The headphones will keep playing to that level, but you know, at what point does your bank run out of money?
Right.
Or just size. Again,
Yeah, mine
compact.
would run out really fast.
Yeah, well, that's
when
a
it
lot
comes
of
to
money.
stuff like that.
That's a lot of money for anybody when you think about it. You start
Yeah.
approaching the cost of an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's the thing, like, you know, so like a Soaker stack I have at home and the class amp and all that stuff and like a million different things between like, okay, replacing the resistors on this amp and all this other stuff. It's like I can get it to sound kind of close to that, but it's like 2 years of effort
Yeah, right.
and a million parts.
Right.
It's like, I just plug this in.
Yeah, most people aren't going to go through that. Or
Yeah.
They don't have the knowledge, skill set, and they don't even have. Most people don't have the time. You know, I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to sit there and
That is a big one.
rebuild amplifiers to suit my taste.
Right.
I could do it, but I ain't got that kind of time.
And it's
You know?
risky,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
you know.
Well, you go the wrong way real quick too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, in tinkering with amps, there's that one point where it's like, is this going to blow up everything if I
Well,
mess this
sure.
up?
Well, sure. You got to kind of know what you're doing. You know?
Right.
accidentally
Having a
dropping
schematic
solder or
helps.
something. You know, a drip of solder on things. You know,
Yeah,
I've seen
right.
that.
Yeah. The one time you power up and
Yeah.
boom, smoke comes out. It's like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that amp I tinkered with, it's like a 400 watt amp,
Oh.
you know, and it's
yeah.
class A.
Yeah.
It's like at that point, it's like, that one drip of solder,
Yeah.
it's a lot of magic smoke and
Yeah.
a flipped breaker. And
Yeah, with
you know,
line level gear, even if you might be lucky if you blow the fuse, it might not even blow the fuse and still blow up.
Right.
But with amps, with big power supplies are scary to mess
Yeah.
with. You know, you
Yeah.
make a mistake in there. You know, I've seen that happen.
I've seen it.
I've seen that happen. It scares you.
The one thing I will really give credit to the Broadway and the S both is that their Class A, obviously the Broadway has a lot more juice, but it's never an amp that's scared me.
No.
A lot of
Yeah.
Class A amps, like I love Class A, I'll seek it out, but I'm I'm not gonna lie, big Class A speaker amp, I'll hook it up and I'm like a little nervous around this thing.
It's
You know
a
what I mean?
lot of power on a
It's a
headphone.
lot of power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice because I get the Class A sound, but it doesn't. I'm not worried that it's going to just like kill me at a moment's notice.
Well, and the reality of it is you really don't, like, a speaker amp has a shit ton more gain than you require out of a headphone amp.
Right.
You know, you're probably averaging at least 20 the mid 20 dB gain, where most headphones would be comfortable under 20, and it's a lot. It's a big difference. Talking a lot less gain, which means there's a lot less electronics you're going through
Right.
to listen to the music. You know, and that from a pure standpoint, that's what you're after. You
Simple.
You want to minimize the gain stages. It's just like tubes. You want to go through 6 tubes. You want to go through 1. I mean, really, if you single-headed triode, right? Wow, 1 tube, bam, you're done. You just need enough drive for it.
You know, that makes
You
me.
know?
I wonder what this would sound like if you used like a tube pre in between them. That'd be interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of want to try that now.
It would. You go back to your color.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It would add a definite, a lot of color.
Well,
Yeah.
but then you could, if you wanted that, then you could roll tubes
I do love my
with
tube
a solid
sound.
state
You
amp.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be fun.
I have a tube pre that I use on my 2 channel with 500 watt monos,
Yeah.
and it's the best of both worlds to me for speakers to
What
have
kind
a
of pre do
tube
you
front end.
use? I think you mentioned it before, but I can't remember.
It's just the pre.
Yeah.
It's 12AU7 based. I think David Bellis Power Modules was the company.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
an old pre, but it's 12AU7 based tube pre, and it sounds good. I mean, obviously you can do whatever you want by changing up the tubes, and but the bottom line is that when you in the headphone side, when I've introduced that into a headphone system, and it's nowhere near as good sounding as it is in the 2 channel.
Yeah.
You all of a sudden you hear it for what it is. Headphones are just way more. Once you hear a pure chain like this, avoiding unnecessary electronics,
Right.
it's hard to go back.
I hear that.
You know. So anyway, that's the whole idea with these designs is that they are trying to be from a pure standpoint and do the job. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff inside this KDEC. It's not a single chip answer. It's a
Right.
full board R2R full of friggin' precision resistors just to do that part, and another full board just for the power supply and the analog section,
Yeah.
and all the ins and outs on this thing and the bells and whistles. So
Yeah. Socrates does
there's
it
a lot-
right.
There's a lot going on in this little box.
Yeah.
That anyway, it's not an Apple dongle. You know?
Yeah. Right. Well, it's a little bit bigger. Maybe
Yeah.
like.
But
I don't
it
know,
is-
a
it
few
is
thousand
a little
times the
bit,
size,
yeah.
like by
Did
volume.
anyone open up an Apple dongle just to show what it looks
The
like?
chip is like, it's smaller than a single button on this remote.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's wild.
Yeah,
But that's the thing. It is still neat inside, though, with all that stuff in there.
it's very
Yeah.
neat. Yeah.
Yep, tidy.
It's well organized.
Yeah.
But bottom line is that this is the kit. This is the go-to kit at this moment for Diana TC. It's just a no-brainer, and
Yeah.
it's plug and play ready. You just need a set of balanced interconnects to go with it, which obviously we can supply you, and and a power cord, of course, helps too.
Right.
But
It- getting the power from the wall to the amp.
Yeah,
the
you're gonna
DAC,
need
it's a
one of
little-
those.
Matters a little bit.
Yeah, and it doesn't come with one of those. So, but most people have these things laying around. It takes a regular standard IEC, 3-pin IEC power cord. But and the Broadway has an external brick that it uses just to top off the batteries because its power supply runs on battery continuously as well as AC. So
That's how I liked using it. Actually, I'd just run the DAC off the wall, and then I would unplug the Broadway from the wall and just run it on battery.
yeah,
Damn.
Some lightning.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to rain today.
It wasn't supposed to. Well, it
Well, now
was,
it
and then
is.
they went to 0%, and now I guess it's probably right.
Unbelievable.
That's perfect timing because we were just talking about power.
Yeah. See, we better turn everything
Yes,
off.
I thought I heard rumblings, but no, that
Hopefully we'll
confirmed
be able
it.
to finish our next video before the pole gets struck. Somehow.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll get to that. I appreciate you guys letting me borrow this stack over the weekend
no
and
problem.
listening to it. That
Yeah,
was
no problem.
fun. I feel a little bit deprived now that it's back here. But
Yeah. Well,
I'll have to bring my headphones in and listen here.
I was
Yeah.
supposed to bring mine in for this, but then I'm just keeping it at home.
Yours?
Yeah.
We don't want to know what that is.
No, my KDAC.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean you took the one we were going to use
That's
for the
right.
video?
Mhm.
Yes. We had to
that
open-
was there.
That's where it
yeah,
went.
we had to
Okay.
open another
That's
box.
right.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. We were hoping we'd sell more than we kept, but
Yeah.
Now you got toys to play with.
yeah, well, it is what it is, you know. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. This is a great setup. Thumbs up if you like this. By all means, email us or call us if you got any questions on how to set up a system properly with our headphones, because we're somewhat noted for being experts at knowing what to use with our headphones, which is a shocker. Right? Manufacturers of the headphone tend to know what works with it and what doesn't.
Novel idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, take care. Thanks.